Ugh. All right. Web development. That's what we're doing. Now, I think I might have ruined it a little bit, but we'll see. I was trying to implement glow on the buttons, but it didn't work. No, I reverted it. It's fine. It's all good. It's fine. Right, so I guess we do characters or something. I think maybe this should have a slightly greater margin. It's in here. But if we say Y, like a 2. No, B8 and ME. Something like that. Looks a little bit better, in my opinion. Has the same distance between this and that. Right. So, basically, what I need to do now then is we take the unit section and I think it should actually just be this. Like we just take this. And then we go to character. Character section here. Right, and then we end up with this. But this is Terrestrial at War. Okay, so in the same manner as we have this, we need to have type character keys equals RIA. All right. So, like, the question is which characters might we have here? Maybe. We might also have what is his name? Something like that. And here we can say, what's her face? Syra. Like this is just for testing, and the reality is it depends. Hmm? Oh. Sure. Think. What are you bitching about? Character keys. Are you telling me I need to have everything here for it to not shit itself? Okay, now it's happy. So now if we go here, still just city militia. Unit keys, character keys, active. Is this set here? Is that how this works? I think so, yes. So we just call this something else. In fact, this just needs to be called active section. I didn't need to rename it. Like that. Except we need to manually list all of them. Hello, Ho-Ho. How's it going? I think it's going good, pretty good today. I think we're just gonna mash it through, because I gave up on the thing I was trying at the end last time. It's too hard for, like, nothing. Yes, it is blocked out. You're right. It's the little thing. Yeah, it's my MMO chat cover. I remembered to remove it on my starting soon screen, but I didn't remove it there or there. Or there. Or there. Drawing for once? Sounds good. What are you drawing? But yeah, I was doing... I was trying to make the edges of buttons and stuff light up with the proximity to the mouse. But I can't find any good sources for it, and AI failed me. Like, I actually made it work, kind of, with Claude. But then I asked it to, like, fix one thing in it, and it just broke the entire thing again, and I was like, you know, this is not worth it. Never tried Claude? I don't feel like it's much better. Like, it like presents itself better, and it has a preview when you're doing web dev. It like just creates like a localized web page with the buttons, and you can see if it works like right there without having to implement it. That's really nice. But the preview broke. Oh, and I couldn't get it to fix it anymore, because it was like there was like a null variable, and it refused to set it. It kept saying that it set it, but it didn't. Let me open it up. Here. Error running artifact. Let me fix that. Let me fix that. Let me fix that. Let me... And it just doesn't work. And here it doesn't work. Here it's broken. Wait. Here, I think. Yeah, you can see here it works. But it's very hard to see, but it works. Let me go back. In one version it glows green, so you see it. Well, it's supposed to do this, right? Like, you can see here it glows green when it's next to the edge. It's not supposed to glow green, but I told it to make it glow green in order to visualize it better. And it does work. It does do this down here somewhere, wherever it was. So I could use that implementation, I think. This one. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to make it glow on active buttons. Because right now I can't set the glow color on an active button, like that's not a variable. So I told him to do that, like add an active glow color to use when the button is active. And when it did that, it just exploded. But yeah, this implementation does work. So I could use that. I asked GPT what was faster. I asked GPT what was faster a week back, and it wrote a benchmark in real time, which I thought was cool. Shame it used Python instead of C#. Oh, yeah. It would probably have used C# if you specified that. But yeah, there are a bunch of tutorials for making buttons glow based on mouse proximity, and if I sit down and figure that out, I can probably extrapolate that to borders. But what I don't like about doing that is that, first of all, it takes a bunch of time for like nothing, and second of all, in web development, there is no guarantee that this translates to that. Right? Like, just because I can make the button body do what I want doesn't mean that I can just translate that into making the borders do what I want. Because it's just all so like hyper specific and packaged. So I don't even know if it'll work. Even if I do that. But I think it would, probably. I might do that later at some point, but there's just so much to do. I don't really wanna. So right now, we're just gonna make some more pages here. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do this. Because here, it really depends. I think I'm just gonna do something and like just do the Volans, which is like the main faction within the Austrian Empire. And then we just do that. And then we can talk about it, and then we can decide on if we want to add the other houses. The thing is just that we might need to make a bunch of art to do that. We do need to make that art in the first, like, no matter what. But it's still a lot of art. And I think there are like 9 grand houses or something. So that would be like 9 buttons up here, which I guess would be okay. But then this shouldn't necessarily be called characters. This would be like houses or something. And history, yeah, so I'm just gonna implement this solution, I think, everywhere. About. What should be in the about section? I feel like this color should be redder. Like, this is supposed to be bronze or something. That's the idea. You know, bronze, silver, gold. But I think this one is a little too close to gold. To the point where this one is maybe too yellow. Well, that's a minor detail. Let's see, I'm gonna write some stuff in the dev channel. I am thinking we should maybe call it factions or something instead, or houses, and have subcategories with characters inside of them. Either that, or we simply have or maybe just have houses and then a list of houses on the left, which then opens up a page for the house, which then just has more light information about notable characters and such in the faction, and no direct character buttons. This is for Treasure. Something like that. That way, instead of it saying Daros there, we'll do something like this instead, where let's see, let's copy this. And then we'll say Vala, and we can say what are the houses called? Astrian Empire. There? Nope, that's not it. There. House. House. Houses, houses, houses. Okay, let's type this instead. Oh, I don't think we've listed it. Fuck me. No, it exists somewhere. here. There. Arius. Lanium. Oh, we can start with that only. Right? And then we call this faction keys. I think this is a little bit work in progress still. Like all the factions. Some of the names aren't finished and stuff. So that's gonna be work in progress a bit. Let's keep it like that. Oh, let's see this one as well. Let's do that, and we'll copy it again. Then this is now house keys, right? No, faction keys. Oh, it should be called, it's not a faction, it's a house. Let's call it house keys. House sections. Voila. Arius. Lanium. House keys. Character section. We're gonna rename it to houses section. Start out in Vala. Vala. I hate that there's no duplicate button in Visual Studio Code by default. Something like that. Oh, okay. Okay. house section. And I think this needs to be MT like 4. Something like that. Like this is unfortunate. Like I don't necessarily like this, but it's like the best alternative. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what I would like to do, like I think the red works for now, but I would like it to be I would like it to be textured. I would like to have a textured background. And I would like to have everything, like the sections, be textured. I would like to have real textured buttons. But I think it's too much work. We'll do that at some other point, at some point in time. This button should say characters, houses. Houses. Great houses. Be great houses. Not sure if we're using this. I don't think so. Characters. Houses. Houses. No. Something like that. Now, I think this is gonna be like the main thing that we're gonna be doing here for a while, I think. It's literally just setting everything up and then trying to see if I can come up with anything to actually write here. Illumine, I think, should be like We should base that on the units section. Units. Then we go to Illumine. Farewell, Illumine section. Then let's see, active. This does not need to be a special name, so we can change that. So this should be Illumine keys. Templar. Illumine keys. Templar. Now the question is, should the priests or the Templars be the first one? I don't know if it really matters. Now here, this is a little interesting, because I don't know how this works exactly. So here we have navigation, and it says Templar as Illumine keys. And I think this is where it should be like this, right? And then this should say priest, I think. And what's happening here that I don't really understand is that we are doing this Templar priest as Illumine keys dot map, and then we have two variables here called tab and index that are parameters, and then we have an arrow pointing to the button, right? But we have a key here that says index, but here we have tab and index. But it works whether I set it to tab or index. So do I just have like an unnecessary amount of things here? Because here it's like key equals index, on click, set active section to tab. Like, what the fuck is the index? What is the key? I don't know what this is at all. I don't think I need to have both of these values. I think both of this can just be index. And I don't think it matters. Because this is code that I took from another part of the website where this like existed, I think, the button. And so I don't really understand exactly what the key is here, for example. Like it's literally just a property that's getting set, I think. So here we are mapping The arrow. This is something I still like. I still don't actually know what this means or does. Whether it's C# or web development. This is a little too cryptic for me to understand, because I haven't really read up what it means. But I think it's basically going to map index to whatever we are setting here, right? Like this returns a value and it's set to index. I think something like that. But now it's bitching. Unit qual keys. Yeah, this should be house keys. These two should just be removed. Well, no, that should not be removed. This should be changed. Oh, wait. We're in... Right. Kind of like that. This is Illumine. I kind of feel like Templar should be second. Because I feel like Templar is more impactful. That's why I want it to be second. So it's like you come in and it's priests, and priests are... They're more of a... How do you put it? Like, they're not non-military, but their main reason for existing is not military. What do you call that? Like serving the people. Civic. Yeah, it's more of a civic faction. Or I don't know if faction is the right word, but it's like a civic organization, I suppose. It's like a branch of government. Right, so units irregular section. We have an Illumine section, and the Illumine section needs to have subsections, and it's going to be called Templar section. And then we're gonna have one called Priest section. And it's not gonna have subsections, so let's ditch of that. So navigation needs to go. Right? And then here, this should not be based on anything like that. I'll be right back. All right. Um. So basically, this is all I need. The rest, it doesn't need a key. Illumine sections. Priest. That's what we'll do. That. And then we make another one called Templar. I don't know if designing it like this is actually like the way to go. Because I know that doing it this way with functions actually does something, right? Like it's not as simple um as it just being a function. From what I understand, it like turns it into some kind of like a node or something, right? So I don't know exactly if this is like the proper way to do it. But I also think it doesn't really matter that much unless it like noticeably starts to matter, right? So this is now the Illumine section, and then and this is Templar section, and this is otherwise Priest section. That's weird. We do that, and then here we're gonna say the Templar Order. Now, I don't know if they're gonna have like anything. Let us add a lorem ipsum. And word wrap. Is this the best way? I kind of think so, but it's also a little bit you know, it gets a little bit cluttered up here, right? But I still think this is probably the way to do it. I wonder what colors should be here. I wonder if the priesthood should have like a unique color. Is this centered? No, 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 no. Let's see. Illumine section. Text. Span. What is this? Index. Content. So, Templar section. Text center. Text left. Yes, that's better. Should not be centered. I mean, this is a little bit rough still, but that's just what it's gonna be like. That's just what happens when you put an image there. Right. But I think maybe there should be like a caption for the image. I'm not so sure about that. No. Here. Yeah, I think it needs to have extra margin here. Also wonder if it should have some margin up here, because it's not actually aligned to the text. Is it? I mean, it actually, yeah, it is. Kind of. Like, it's aligned to the top of it, but it's not properly aligned to, like, the actual size of the text, but it's fine, I think. Oh, no, that's wrong. Okay, so... motion div, text. Text LG. Okay, so I think it's this, right? Here we have text left here. And I think that, like, overwrites everything. So here, this should be text center. And then, yeah, there we go. Yeah. I think it just needs to go there. Yeah. So here, units. Units elite section. Text center should be here. That it? Alright. That looks about right. About. I also wonder if it might be a little boring to just have like the same image type everywhere on the same on every page. That's something we'll have to consider. And also, if every page should have an image. The units do need to. The houses should probably just have the house symbol. Illumine, I'm not so sure. I think we might want to have multiple things here. We might want to have, like, if there's an order symbol for the Templar and the Priest, that should probably be the first thing. But I do think we want to have a few images in the text as well, because we're gonna talk about what is the role of the priesthood, and also, like, what is its role in war, because this is Terrestia at war. That's like the main thing that matters here. Which means that, like, right now, for houses, this is probably just gonna be House Vala. And then there might be a button here that says, like, more to come. Because that's pretty much how it is, I think. Because we're planning on having more houses inside of the faction, which is gonna come with, like, unique units and commanders and stuff. But that's not something that we have yet. And I think the About section should have more. It should have, like, links and stuff later on. But that's not available yet. Like, when you get to the Astrian Empire in the About section, there should be, like, a buy button to take you to the Terrestia at War section to purchase whatever. Ducks. So let's see here. History section. Let's go and grab the Illumine section here. No, let's grab like the Templar section. Then we go to history section. And we're gonna use this here. And here then, this is gonna just say history. The history of the empire. And then we need an image that's gonna be just placeholder. And then we just need content, which I'm gonna write manually here. But it is just gonna be a lorem for the time being. The history of the empire. And I kind of think that I don't want to do this placeholder thing here. Instead, what we're gonna try is we're gonna have a couple of these here. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna split this into sections. Like so. Let me take that. Oops, I'm stupid. Put that there. Gotta get my lorem ipsum in the correct order. Right, and then here, we'll try putting some images in between the text. And what is the current width of the text? Well, that didn't work. Float, class name. I feel like there should be like a div. Like that. That didn't do shit. in rows. I don't know if I don't even know if I understand what I just asked it to do, so let's see what it can figure out. But yeah. Removed float right and ML4 from images, which cause text wrapping. Wrapped each paragraph and image in separate div containers with consistent MB6 spacing. Centered the images using flex justify center. Now the layout flows text, image, text, image, text in clearly separated rows. Okay, let's see if we can try that. Text section 1. We wrap that in a div here. And let's see. Div class name equals MB6. And then here is this white space pre-line, text LG, text muted foreground. And then the MB6 is removed there. And then the next image section needs its own div as well, where it's gonna say class name equals MB6 flex justify center image, and then the image does not have a class name. There we go. Yes, that's exactly what I was planning. Now the question is, how wide is this? Because I was thinking of making it be like a banner, right? So right now that's... If we do this. This should then say 600. Yeah, 600. So the entire page would be about... It's a little bit less than 800, I would say. Like 780. Maybe. I'm not sure, because this might not be like exactly. But I think something like that. But maybe it should be a bit smaller. Like maybe it should be like this. $700. that a good size? This 700, 300, no, 700, 240 maybe. That good? Maybe something like this. I don't think that's centered. Actually, kind of as centered as it gets. All right. It's in public placeholder wide. Now we have a placeholder wide. And then we replace this with wide. Wide. And then we say that it should be 720 to 40. Right? Something like that. I suppose. Something like that. All right. And the about section. I think the about section might want to have both. Do I have... I don't know if we've actually finalized the Astrian Empire, like, made a good version of it. Let's see. Is it that one? Sure. This house Vala? House Vala is the owl. I think we have that. Or does this open? Yeah, in the middle of the screen. That's what I was afraid of. Let's do that. And now if I open it doesn't. There. Alright. There is a version of it here somewhere. And I thought maybe we can just put in as a placeholder. this one, I think. Perhaps. And then let's see, where's public? Okay. Let's rename it to House Vala for now. And about section. I feel like, yeah, let's see. This should be a mix of the history section and the others. So let's start with the history section. Right? And then here, this first one shouldn't necessarily be like this. Well, I think it should still be. Let's see. What was it did? Removed float right. Let's see what it looks like. It's like here in the regular section, we then it looks like this. About section. We have navigation, that's buttons and sheet. And then the content. Title, and then it has an image, and then it has content. So if we take this image implementation and we put that here, and then the src should just be houseavala.png. I actually don't know what the alt really means, but I don't know if it's needed. It looks like it is. Placeholder.png. And then this has float right and ML4, and it should also have MB4. And what does it look like now? Not quite right. Right, because now this, why is this down here? Does that even make any sense? Like, how would that even happen? We've got the about section, we have the class name here, and then we have a class name called MB6, which is margin bottom 6, right? And then inside of that div, I put this text here. Content. Title. Image. And then content. Okay, if we move the image first, maybe. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking, actually. Though there would have to be more text here to push this further down. But yes, something like that. But this should not say the history of the empire. This should say the about the empire. Maybe. No, not like that. Yeah. Now, I think that's almost done. Unless, like, anyone on the team has any thoughts on if anything there should be different. I think this is done. At least for now. Like, this is just placeholder and just like ideas of how to do it. I think this should actually be in the history here, not in the about. So let's actually move that over. So that was this, right? History section. What exactly do I have in my... Yeah, it should be... the div? Or... wait. Yeah, okay, so I've got the div. Like that. History. There, yeah. That should be correct. And then here... I have some ideas. For what we should be using here. Okay. Oh, no, hold on. Well, yeah, what? I'm not sure. Actions, setting, the world of Terrestria. What should we put here? Rules. This needs to basically talk about what our goals are with the rules for Legends of Terrestrial, or for Terrestrial War. And then it needs to just have like a link to the rules. Oh! Oh! Ah! lamps. All right. So now we need to set this part up. What I just set up was this faction page for the Astrian Empire. So the same needs to be done for the Nephiric Horde, but it should basically just be copy paste the entire page and just change some names and stuff. Otherwise, they should be the same. And this needs to be a different icon, but we don't have one made quite yet. And I don't know if I really like this either. It might be okay. I'm just worried about like what's it gonna look like when there are more factions, right? But I think we might end up with like 3, and then we have 3 like basically rows of 3, and then we just have several rows of other factions going downwards. Something like that. We'll have to see how we deliver the rules as well. They should just be on the website. I want 10,000 crackers and a Dr. Pepper.
C'est parce que j'ai commandé un grand cappuccino, c'est quoi ça? C'est minuscule.
I'll be right back. I should add another placeholder so that they can understand where I'm coming from. Now if I don't know what Kibbs have shown. A little bit. Sure. Kibbs, are you awake? think he's there. Like, I would. Like, I don't think that what I would use is a big deal. But I am cursed. Like, I have a curse. The universe has cursed me. Actually, I have several curses. But my curse is that if I ever ask how to do something or if I should do something, the answer is always yes. If I don't, the answer is always no. So, yeah. Let's err on not. That seems like a life hack. I don't know. It's a life hack when you have the curse, when you're the bearer of the curse. Well, we can see. Let me check. From cubes in the chamber of squeakrits has image. The thing is, like, he usually shares most things, so I think it's whatever, but we'll see. It doesn't need to be that specific image either. Like, it doesn't matter. But it was pretty much like exactly the image I had in mind, so I wanted to use it. Yep, that's a lot of porn. I think it's probably not shared. Now, this is all a while ago. Alright, I'm just gonna use something that I know we have then. Yeah, we can use this one. This is a snapshot from something similar. So what the hell would be Okay, let's say that it is 2000 wide. What would be the correct aspect ratio? Aspect ratio calculator. Width 1 is 7, what was it? 720, height 240. Your aspect ratio is 3:1. Okay. 3:1. So if our height is 2000, that would mean it should be 6000 wide. Alright, this order is called the Celestial Order. I don't know if... Is the Celestial Order the entire thing? Either way. History section. And here we say Celestial Order. Like this, right? Right. Something like that. Holy shit, I want crackers so bad. Oh, I hate not being able to eat copious amounts of candy and sugar and cookies and crackers and potato chips and beer and alcohol and Dr. Pepper and pastries, cinnamon buns. Ah! Day 2 of my diet, I'm currently ordering a calzone and chips plus a Ben & Jerry's ice cream tub. Don't buy Ben & Jerry's, that's like 3 times more expensive than any other ice cream tub. Jesus Christ. It's half price? Alright, so it's only 1.5 times more expensive. Yeah. Oh, it's so hard. Oh, I want crackers so bad. How long have I been going? I don't know, like 12 hours. I like. Because I've been like I've been mostly doing it, but I have been eating tacos with tortillas. So that's cheating, and I eat like 3 tortillas each time. Which isn't, like it's not like, oh my god, Jesus Christ, but it's still 3 tortillas, right? Like 320 grams. So per 100 grams, it's, man, why do I have to calculate this? Get it out. You can't, like, it doesn't work like that. You cannot get it out of your system because eating the thing and being like, yeah, this is the last time I'm gonna do it. That's what makes you get the craving the next time, and then you have to get it out of your system the next time. Oh. Yeah. Yep. About the Empire. I'm not really sure what to put. Hmm. Oh yeah, we can maybe use something Bathios has made recently. Wasn't that much there. I'm just gonna use these boys. I assume these are maybe a heavy cab, but let's see. About image. Asterion lights. Are we 3D printing the models? No. But we do make the STL files available for people to download and print themselves. That's really the game plan. Like, if we could offer a printing service via some company, that would be great. But that's like a luxury, right? Yeah, the idea really is to just make a good game first and foremost. Second, be cheaper than the alternatives. And third, just lean in on 3D printing being like the way forward, so that people can just print their own models after paying a sum for just access to it, really. And also having it available digitally, is you can play the tabletop using Tabletop Sim right now, and ideally we would like to have our own client for just playing the game in, which would mean that I need to make a 3D engine for that. And like the 3D engine I'm working on the side is like, I don't know if it's ideal really for this, but I think it would work for that. Here comes the C++. I don't think we need that, because the it's not like RTS or anything. It's just a bunch of models that you need to be able to move around with, like tools and stuff, in like a turn-based fashion. So if I can just figure out how to get the terrain to render properly the way I want it to in the game engine I'm working on there, then we could maybe use that to make like a voxel-based engine for like tabletop gameplay. And then you could potentially have tools to like build the terrain and stuff yourself using like a Minecraft-esque like interface or something like that. I think that could be cool. I think this is actually pretty decent at the moment. So, what the fuck do we put here? I think this should just have the same layout as this. Yeah, I think the about section should be the exact same as this. Now, where are we now? This is Terrestrial War, so it would be here, right? So, faction section. Here it needs to be fixed a bit because it's like this, right? Content active section equals factions, then we fetch the faction section, and then the rest is just like this. So I want to have another function about section. Should be like this. And then here needs to be like this. So this should say else active section equals about, then about section. Now the question is I'm not sure it needs a title. Because here there's a title, right? I don't know if this needs a title here. In the same way I feel like it should have here, like about. It's a little questionable if it should be about and then about the Empire. I think about should maybe be like the synopsis or something. Maybe about is a better word. It doesn't matter. I'm overthinking it. This is a little bit, I'm a little bit unsure here too, right? Because the units, I think they should have, like, because we have both models and art, right, for each unit. I think the model is more relevant, but I think both have like merit to exist on the page. But then the question is, how? Like, there could be a button here that switches this between model and art. I suppose. That's an option. As for the units, I think there's a question of whether... Hello, Sudden Cringe, how's it going? Yeah, as for the units, I think there's a question of whether the models should be we use as the image, or if it should be the card art. An alternative could be to have a button to switch between. A button beneath the image to switch between. I'm alright. Still haven't fixed my sleeping schedule. That's basically impossible, apparently. What time is it there? It's almost 5 o'clock here. But I've been going to bed at like 6 a.m. So... I normally I go to bed at like 2. So it's a little bit shifted. Setting. I wonder what Gibbs is shared there. That could be cool. Let's use something like this, maybe. For now. I died. Terrestria at War by show. Maybe we put that here, actually. Did I save it correctly like that? Yeah. Though it's already used here, so that's cheating. Ah, fuck. These buttons need to be fixed. They're too dark normally, and they become even darker when you hover over. I don't like that. Yeah, well, if we'd already used that, what the fuck do I use then? Like, it doesn't really matter right now, but... just wanted to have something there. Aye. I know which one to use. I know which one. Ba 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 ba. From Carlis as image. No, it's let's. Let's use this one. This is like, what is this? It's called... I need to look it up. No, it's part 2. The gap of... I don't know, that's what it's called. Though I need to edit it, so that doesn't help. We need to remove these black borders. Drop. Right. Also, the images need to be made smaller and should probably be JPEGs. Not 3,800 times 1,700 PNGs. I just don't know if I think it's a good idea to put an image like spanning like this. We can try it, I suppose. So it would be width 720, height 240 or something. And then we should remove last name. I think this can work, but I don't know if I'm a huge fan. Like maybe if it's even thinner, but like this could be okay-ish. And this, I think this should be a logo. This should be an image. It shouldn't animate. You ever finalize the Terrestrial at War logo? Oh, right. I have it all saved. And just check here instead. Sort by date. I don't know if we ever really finalized this, but I think it's good. Mostly. Let's go with this one. Apps. Actually, I don't know if I can. That doesn't have... Let's see what we can do. I have a version, but it doesn't have a transparent background. That's the problem. We can try to do something here. Just temporarily. And then we see, what does this look like on background? Then we feather it by like, yeah, sure, feather it by 5. And we do something like that. Let me see, hold on, I don't trust these fucking export windows to not pop up some random folder I've had open like 100,000 years in the past. So, here it says terrestrial war here, text animate. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just, let's just say image. Right. We'll see how that goes. What the fuck is happening? I'm spamming Control C. Control V doesn't work. Oh, computer. Why does... Are you fucking kidding me right now? Control... Yes, there's an image in the clipboard. Overwrite it. You piece of shit. It doesn't work. It literally doesn't work. Chat GPT. Copying. I don't even know what's in my clipboard. I've copied an image into my clipboard, and now even when I select and use Control.X to cut text, I cannot paste text. Let's see if it's trying to paste an image. Cannot access the clipboard. Fuck off. Okay, GIMP was holding my clipboard hostage for no reason. Very cool. Alright, where were we? Here. There we go. SRC. Terrestria at warlogo.png. Next thing I need to do here is the Restrat War logo. Then we trim it. Actually, that might not work. I have to trim it manually. Otherwise, it might not be centered anymore. So I think like this, we can definitely trim it up there, but not the other way around. Something like that. Saltines. I do think that the faction pages could be like we could no. All right, let's not do that. Let's not do that. I was about to say we could have like we could make like logos for each empire for their text, but holy shit. It's so much work. Like this logo, I think this logo looks really good now. Salah did a really good work putting this logo together. But holy shit, like the journey there is long. It's there's a lot of iterations to go through to get the logos to be good, because it's really difficult to make good logos like this. So I don't know if doing that for the for every single faction is really the way to go. I think it's too far down, isn't it? ETPY. What is this? Let's see. Terrestrial or logo. EY12. EB12. That's gonna put it up. No, that makes no difference. What's PY? Item center. Terrestrial war. Default. I think it's not in here. I think it's just... I mean, I don't know. Like, this is higher up, isn't it? PT40. Yeah, okay. I don't think it should have any PT there. I think this should be a MT 20 angle. Perhaps. I don't know if there was any difference there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there was a difference. Something like that. If not even less. Oh. 18 did not exist. How about 16? Oh, that exists. Something like that. Why? I don't think I like this. But I'm not sure. I feel like it really depends on what we're gonna write here. But I think that this should be an image here on the side. Because I also want to be able to have buttons here. I think. Because it's like either the button is in here or it's over here. Or we have two. Not sure. I think maybe here. It could be like a try now button or a buy button. But try now might be better. And honestly, it immediately looks better with the logo. And that's what I was talking about before. Like, I do want to have real buttons instead of these JavaScript buttons. And like a more like medieval fantasy themed backdrop. But it doesn't matter right now. Setting. What should I do here? Game rules. I do gotta work those artists. This should not say this Astral Priesthood, this should say... I'm not really sure how we should handle this section. I think it should be like this. Because this is like... I'm thinking of it like from a lore perspective, but the Terrestrial at War section should be more geared towards the game. So when anything here is like about the lore or whatever, it should be in relation to the game. So here, like, the main distinctions here is that you can have Priest and Templar Illumine with you. So the Priest and the Templar subdivisions are like what matters. And same thing in the houses. Like the house, for each house, it should be like what commanders are available. But there should be like a little bit about like what is the house like there should be some general history there. And like talking about like their military and stuff like that. But it should mainly be about like relevant generals and stuff. And the same thing with the history. History should also be tied to the like the war history of Astria. And this also needs to be adjusted. These texts are just some random things that Belky put in there as placeholders, which is fine, but this is not what's going to be there. In fact, I don't know if there should be any text. Is this Streamlabs? Oh yeah, that needs to be updated, I think. I mean, we should move away from Streamlabs entirely. We just haven't done that, I think. Streamlabs sucks ass. And yeah, here's the video game section, and that I haven't worked anything on that yet, so it's just completely empty. These character sections, just like that. I've done one single class in UX, and the only thing I kind of remember is that less text the better. People don't read. Well, it depends, right? Like, here the entire point is to deliver text to read, right? But, it should just be short, right? Because anything more should be in the books. So it should just be like general, like short stuff, I would say. And it's also like it's also about the focus, right? Because we are working on tabletop video game, and then it's like super on the back burner right now, but we have planned a pen and paper as well, right? And each thing focuses on different things. So the like Terrestrial War focuses more on war history, war gameplay, like it is a war game. So therefore the information that should be on that section should be more geared towards like military military strategy, military history, units, those kind of things. What's their spells like those kind of things. And there should still be like a splash of other things like world building and just other like information about like what Astra is like a little bit, but it shouldn't be a focus at all. While once we start working more on pen and paper, that should be more about the world. What are people like? What is like what's the kingdom like? What's the rulers like? What are the laws like? What's life there like? What's the wildlife there like? You know, those kind of things. It should be more about like just the world. Pretty much. So, let's see. I'm actually gonna... take the leap and delete that section there. And then we have a grid. Grid class name. Let's see. Can you just do this here? Yeah, okay. And then we have setting. The setting should use... I think the same kind of setup as this, perhaps. History. And I don't know if really a title is necessary here either. This could maybe go. So that's easy to change later. But let's see. So I said history section, right? And the history section should replace the setting. Yeah, we don't have a setting section. Function setting section. Then we go to the factions and we replace this here initial. We only animate the opacity. And then we need a function rules section. Oh, just piss. Oops. We go back up again. Now this, I'm not sure what this is, but I think it should just be deleted, really. But we can save it. And instead this should say about section. No. Rules section. I do think it should have an image. Actually, I think I used the wrong one. Maybe we should use the setup. Rules. But it shouldn't be the house Vala. Let's see if we have anything fun. Let's see, is there anything else Show has put together? I don't know which one is final though. What about the Carlis? I think maybe this one could work better here with some cropping. Oh. Maybe we can use that one. Wonder if I have the final version of that. If I do, I sure don't know which one it is. Where is this from? December, July. Oh, there was a... Okay, there was a version there in the finished work section. We have been neglecting to use the finished work channel, so it's all in work in progress. How far back do I need to go? Here, is that the one? Uh, we can try. Although, where am I now? Setting. Let's go to setting section. And then here we try using that. The wrong thing. I'm not sure if that is the correct name for it though, but I think I probably need to crop it. Something like this, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't need that much. No, I think this would have to be something more like down in the middle. I don't think that's the right approach for this. I'm just trying to make it not too fat. And then we move it to here. We just maybe remove this. Oh. I do think it's a little thick. Oh, no, maybe that's okay. Sure. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, I think. Like, I got up a bit late. I need to fix my sleeping schedule. I need to go to the store, I need to eat, and then I still need to do some writing today. So we're gonna stop there, but I feel like most of it is like in the right direction at this point. At the very least. But yeah. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna push the code, and then I'm gonna just let the others browse around it a bit and just get the feel for it. But yeah. Until next time. Thanks for hanging. Have a good day.